All right, let's talk about the midpoint of the year and what will happen with the rack going forward. I'm really ecstatic with what I have going on today. I'm actually really happy with the progress I've been able to make and everything I've been able to do so far. A lot of things have changed, so I want to kind of walk through my viewpoint on that and use this format since it's easier. We have the UNAS Pro, and I am probably the happiest I've ever been with a device. And I see why Unify is both expensive and also just rock solid. This is a wonderful piece of hardware. I really love this. And if they make a bigger one for enterprise that has more bass, this will be my backup for the UNAS Pro, and also actually backup for everything, every option, every spinning rust option in the lab, as well as having a secondary NAS to essentially have for any of the video files and stuff I make for this channel. At the top, I'm gonna figure this out, this move some air, but I wanna move a little bit more because I'm gonna need to move a little bit more to make that more useful. This is the cable pass through, so leaving that there for now. This may have to move down some. The big thing that I did that I'm looking forward to is this here. Now, this is interesting because what I did here was use this little PC, MSA1, with an A700G chip from AMD Ryzen to basically make a little media server slash gaming server slash AI server. So because it runs TrueNAS, you can run homelab, you can download full storage pieces and everything else and models to run, which is great. So I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna have to do some configuration for that to make that work better. But the nice thing about this is there are 6 hard drives that are gonna be the game cache, as well as probably run image on here because I have like 2 terabytes. So that'll be nice to have that running image and doing some light AI work in gaming as well as media, so it's all in one. The nice thing about the 8700G chip is it does have room for both of the can connect to a graphics card and has onboard graphics that are pretty decent. So that'll be, the onboard graphics will probably run some of the gaming, but probably not all of it, and then that can do AI. Eventually, however, what will happen, I think longer term, is going to be when we get down here and we look at, so as I think about this, I can replace this with a more robust backup unit, which will be great, and then use this 2U space here for actual another server that's probably gonna house multiple cards, multiple things like that. It just makes my life easier. This made room to another room in the house, so it may not be mounted anymore, and along with it so that takes up about 7U right there, roughly, which is great because now I can actually have that space back, which is exactly what I want. And on top of that, I can put probably the other Unify item down here since it'll be heavier with all the drives. That thing is, the UNAS Pro is built like a tank, so I can imagine anything else would be like that. But with this one, this is my little server here. This little boy is running double duty and will probably be a backup. It may eventually run Home Assistant with an accelerator card, as well as like the rest of TrueNAS and some other stuff, because it has these are all NVMe drives. So I think two in the back are actually, what else? I think those are M.2s, but I don't remember. But this is a Dell 61415, which is a AMD EPYC processor, which runs a 7401, which is a 24 core, 48 thread processor, and I have 256 gigs of RAM. For another like $200, I can get another 256 gigs of RAM, so I have 512, which would be perfect for this server. And the beautiful part about that is it allows me to do a lot more with less in some ways. So I won't be as caught up with both power overhead and just non-fast storage. The reason I have all that RAM on the other one is because eventually this server may just end up being just a gaming server for the whole house, and run Steam and maybe some AI. But this one is really built for, I can add more storage to it. I can have a bunch of storage on it, and this bad boy could really do some damage. So that's probably what I'm looking at longer term for that. I still have these 3 slots populated, and I can even get rid of this one as well and use these 4 to do a lot. So I have to decide. I'm talking about 60 terabyte U.2s, which would be crazy. I gotta get somebody to give me those though. They're fairly expensive, but even so, they pale in comparison to what it would cost to run like 24 of those. So I think that having those being together the way that it is with that speed and that RAM will be the quintessential home server, because in the future I want to test out some other AI and really big kind of OEM integrated systems like Josh AI. And so I'm thinking about that between that and Home Assistant, because Home Assistant does have a lot of different things. Josh AI has a lot, but between Home Assistant and Unify, if Unify keeps coming out with stuff, I'll probably just go Unify, and then I can run any AI accelerator on whatever I need to. So I played around with Home Assistant for a while. I didn't really use it as much. It was a great bridge. So once I get the accelerator card, which will probably be $500, and maybe some of the other things, I think that's probably the way I'm leaning. So we'll try out this server, and we won't have it on all the time. It pulls about 200 watts, but these 2 little bad boys here are gonna keep kicking it. I think this one eventually will be replaced by this one, and then this bad boy, which is the monitor for the house, I think all the apps may move to here, which is perfect, along with the gaming, since I'm gonna take Plex off of that, and Plex will be on here again. So I'm thinking that's probably what's gonna happen, because that'll make my life a bit easier to really do what I have to do long term. So yeah, I think that's what the plan is gonna be longer term for this rack as I start to really build it out, but also as I start to figure out what's next in the homelab world, but also these other things. This will all be gone. This is just temporary for now to get me through until I start getting the dream machines and all the other unified gear. But this is fundamentally very, very nice. I like it a lot. I love my solution here because I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do with the 2U server that I had. And I'm kind of glad that I did it the way that I did it and got rid of that, because wow, the Dell R720XD was phenomenal. It was power hungry. I had the power supplies that had too much on there. I wasn't really running everything like that, and just the amount of power it takes to power one of those long term. I'd rather run something like this that is gonna get me a lot more bang for my buck, and it's gonna be faster and way, way, way easier to work with. So I'm pretty happy with my setup right now. Eventually this will leave in another room in the house and just do media and games. That's probably all it'll do. These two may get combined, because this actually runs its own version of this one actually runs its own version of PBS and a backup one. So the PBS one may stay, and I might switch this one over to PBS and just take out all the drives from here to here and put them in this one, because this one has 32 gigs of RAM and is a little bit more solid. So this may become the backup server, which will be ridiculous, and then this one may become, pull it out, obsolete. But we'll have to see, because I'm not quite sure yet. This one does its job really well, and it just does snapshots, so that's all I needed to do. And then this one monitors all the other little stuff and runs the dashboards and everything else, which is nice because it has enough, trust me, it's under enough pressure. But the beautiful part about that is this one could do everything and really kick butt and take names. So this may be the one that ends up being on all the time and really being the, it's just loud. So I like a dedicated room for that, or to figure out how I can't turn it down. I've tried, but it's a 1U, so it just won't be very quiet. You can hear how quiet it is in here right now, which is kind of why I was happy that this thing isn't on. This is the loudest one in the Dell R720, even though that one was quiet. I had tuned it really well. But with all that being said, these are what's next in the home lab, what I intend to accomplish in the future. And we'll play around with some more tech and get some really cool stuff going. So I'm really excited. I do want a better lighting situation than that. It's kind of cool, but I want to figure out how to do cob lights with LED throughout the actual entire, with magnets across the entire rack, so that it's fully illuminated, which would be like ideal and very nice. So I'm gonna work on that as well and try to make this a little bit more, I don't know, nicer, I guess. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the new server, the MSA1. It's come along really well, and we'll see where we go from here. Until next time, peace.